70 WDAY. The opinions expressed on the Jay Thomas Show are the opinions of the host, participating callers, and/or listener emails, texts, and/or letters, and are not necessarily the opinions of WDAY or Forum Communications. WDAY 970 AM and 93.1 FM invites you to make your opinion known. We pride ourselves on exploring all viewpoints on any topic.
Do you know who I am? I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
I'm very happy for you.
Jay Thomas Show, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Monday afternoon. The big news, wow, Notre Dame, man, holy cow. And I got to tell you right now, I got to give credit to Shepard Smith on Fox News. He was talking to a bunch of people from over on the other side of the pond. That's what they call other side of the pond. And he had some politician that was on over there started speculating about terrorism, and Shepard shut that dude down right now and booted him off the air, man. So kudos to him for stopping any case. Because come on, don't start.
They have no idea.
Exactly.
They're just trying to get it out right now.
It's going to take months, if not longer, to figure out.
There was renovation
Under
happening.
Construction.
So so.
It's a shame that built was built in 1160. They started building it in 1160. Took them 100 years to build that. Was completed in 1260.
They recently were asking for some funds because the building was actually crumbling recently, and it needed a lot of renovations. So, and
it was all
sometimes
private funds, I believe. That was
sometimes stuff like this happens during renovation.
That's crazy, really. Wow. Basically, the whole wooden structure of this thing is gone. I mean, you got the stone facade, but that sounds like really Rob Board, Kyle, that's all that's going to be left of this thing.
It's a
beautiful building.
Well, it's a tragedy. I mean, it's an icon. I mean, everybody around the world knows what Notre Dame Cathedral is, and it's I've never been there, but I mean, just to me, I guess, I mean, you don't ever want to see anything catch on fire like this, but the history of this place specifically is just it's tragic.
850 years old, man. That's something else. And it ain't good. That's for sure. They're saying already though, hey, we will we'll get this rebuilt. We'll get to work on it. Hey, buddy, what's going on in your world, man?
Busy. I've got a podcast up today about just covering also. I actually have a podcast up today. The Congress is setting out. They're having a field hearing at Standing Rock about voter ID issues. Yeah. So I had the ranking Republican member of that committee on today's podcast. Right after your show, I interviewed our incoming U.S. Attorney Drew Wrigley this morning. Yeah. Right after your show, I'm going to be interviewing Governor Doug Burgum, and then after that, I'm going to be interviewing a guy from the University of Colorado campus about Mark Kennedy. So things are happening,
this
man.
Kennedy thing, man, dude.
I've been busy.
Boy, this Kennedy, President Kennedy thing. Wow.
Well, the amazing
they're protesting today, right? Students are protesting.
Yeah, it was. As a matter of fact, the guy I'm going to interview,
first protest.
He helped organize the protest, and he's we put on, because he's actually protesting now. He wanted to do it after the protest, so I'm gonna talk with him right after that protest. It's kind of interesting. Although I will say, if you, I think it would be wrong not to hire Mark Kennedy because of his politics. Yeah, I think we struggle a lot with especially right of center views being welcome on campus. Mm-hmm. They're upset about his views on gay marriage. I would point out that at the time he cast those votes, he shared the same views on gay marriage with Barack Obama, who also at the time defined marriage between a man and a woman. Now, President Barack Obama changed his mind in 2012. It wasn't until 2012, though. I mean, halfway through his presidency, that he officially went on the record saying that he believes that he supports gay marriage. So holding Mark Kennedy to account for that. I mean, listen, I support gay marriage as well, but I mean, to pretend as though that's not been a very evolutionary point for a lot of people, Republicans and Democrats alike in our society, is a little ridiculous. I mean, Hillary Clinton was running for president for the Democrats in 2016. The Defense of Marriage Act that Mark Kennedy voted for, or excuse me, not the Defense of Marriage Act, I think he voted to renew it. But the original Defense of Marriage Act happened during the Clinton administration. So, I mean, come on.
They've got other issues, though. I mean, there are other protests there,
yeah.
Just,
well, I'm the last one in the world. I mean, I've broken a lot of stories about Mark Kennedy, so I'm the last one in the world to defend him. There are plenty of reasons to not want Mark Kennedy to be the president of your university.
Rob, let me ask you this. Why? Because here's another person we hire in North Dakota. I guess, kind of from the area, of course, the former Minnesota lawmaker. But why don't we look for somebody within the state for these jobs?
Did you read my son?
Let me tell you something. A lot of times these people come here, then they realize, I really don't want to be. I mean, let's be honest. Kennedy, this was a layover for him.
Did you?
How many times does he look for a job while here? I mean, this guy wasn't dedicated to the university system. He was looking out for, and I have no problem with people looking out for themselves, but I mean, come on, find somebody here, and you can't tell me there's not one person in North Dakota that could do that job.
Yeah,
that's from here, knows the area, understands the area.
That was my Sunday print column, and in my Sunday, did you ever watch the show Arrested Development?
Very, very few times.
Maybe Kyle will get that. There was a character on there called Rita. Do you remember Rita, Kyle?
I believe I do.
With the British accent.
Yep.
She was a mentally challenged woman, but everybody on the show thought that she was smart because she had a British accent. They were all, which Americans do that, right? Like if you have a British accent, we ought to. I think North Dakotans do that with people from out of state. Like we ought, if we're going to hire for a big job like university president or something, I think that we feel like we've got to. If we want to get a rock star, if we want to get a visionary or something, I think there's a sort of self-loathing among North Dakotans where we feel like if we really want to get somebody good, we got to go out of state.
We have to get somebody with an accent.
Yeah, well, I don't know about somebody with an accent, but definitely we got to get somebody from out of state. We do it all the time, and it's frustrating. And like you, I don't understand why we don't hire more people from in North Dakota. And I mean, not that North Dakotans, but I mean people who are a known quantity, like maybe people who already work in the North Dakota university system and should be promoted. Right?
Yes.
I mean, maybe people who are already have a relationship with the legislature. Maybe people, I mean, like it or not, you got to work with these people. So,
hey, could we take a look at Fargo City Commissioner Tony Grinberg? Do you think he could? I'm sorry.
I think Tony Grinberg's got some other problems going on. You must have seen.
I got it right here. So let's move from Kennedy because let's be honest, the Mark Kennedy thing, that's over.
Yeah.
It's done. He's out of here. The chancellor said, basically, see you later.
Which by the way, did you not love the letter from the chancellor? Like, we saw what you were saying in the newspaper about moving on. We'll accept that as your resignation. Yeah. So see you, pal.
Bye-bye. Deflate your furniture, pack up, you're out of here. All right, what's going on at the North Dakota the College of Science?
Okay, so the audit.
Explain this. Work us through, because this involves people, if you don't know. Rob broke this story probably, maybe an hour or so ago, and it involves a Fargo City commissioner and his wife, correct?
Well, yeah, and by breaking the story, I want to say I got a press release from the auditor's office, so it's not like I was, some big scoop for me. I mean, this is the auditor did this, but and there's a lot to unpack. I would recommend people go to the auditor's website, or I have the whole report up at sayanythingblog.com if you want to check that out.
So what happened?
Well, they found it. The big thing that they found is Fargo City Commissioner Tony Grinberg. His wife works for a PR firm.
Flint, right? Flint Group.
The Flint Group.
Yeah.
They got
she's not she's like a CFO or
she's an executive. She's like a CFO or COO. I forget which one exactly, but her company got a contract worth tens of thousands of dollars. I think it was in the $30,000 price range.
Okay.
To develop the strategic plan for North Dakota State School of Sciences. Tony Grinberg, in addition to being a Fargo City Commissioner, also works as a vice president for NDSCS. Okay. Now, what happened is there's a policy where you have to disclose that sort of thing. So, like
that his wife is with the group. They got hired to do the strategic planning.
Right. So he didn't disclose it, which in and of itself is a problem. Also, he can't be involved in the negotiations. Who does
it need to be? Hey, Rob, who does it have to be disclosed to?
Well, there's a form
higher board.
There's a form that you have to fill out, and it's basically your financial disclosure. You have to disclose who you're associated with. It's not unlike what like members of Congress have to fill out. Like I have, I own stocks in these companies, et cetera, et cetera. So he didn't disclose that. They denied initially when the auditor and this is the really bad part. When the auditor first came asking about this, they denied that he participated in negotiations over the contract. Well, there's a timeline, and if you go to sayanythingblog.com, I got the whole timeline there. Oh. There is a timeline that shows that he was actually directly involved in negotiating the contract to develop the strategic plan for NDSCS with his wife's company. I'm going to quote here. This is from the state auditor's office. The email search found not only was there correspondence that NDSCS failed to provide to the auditors, but in fact, Mr. Grinberg was personally involved in recommending and procuring Flint Group, not Dr. Richmond, who, by the way, is the president of NDSCS, as we had been told. Mr. Grinberg worked directly with the CEO of Flint to finalize the contract. So they tried to claim initially that the president of NDSCS did it, and then they weren't turning over emails. Finally, the auditor got the emails, and it turns out, oh no, it wasn't Dr. Richmond who was doing the negotiating. It was, in fact, Tony Grinberg. So now, not only do you have the conflict of interest problem, they tried to hide it.
What does this mean for Grinberg?
Well, nothing good. I mean, this sure doesn't look good. And I have some background on Mr. Grinberg from back in 2012 when he was at the Technology and Research Park at NDSU, and he was being allowed to double dip on his salary. He was expensing top shelf booze and his country club membership to the school, and he was getting away with it because at the time he was a state senator. And you know, I don't know, this, it sure doesn't look good. And also, by the way, there are laws, North Dakota Century Code, which says, I quote, a person is guilty of an offense if he knowingly, without lawful authority, destroys, conceals, removes, or otherwise impairs the availability of a government record. So there's up to the point where there may have been like law broken.
Well, why would Tony do this? Allegedly do this? I mean, you got to know it's at some point it's going to come out, especially if there's an audit done.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. The auditors were trying to get this, and you can look. It's all in the audit report, and the auditor is not. I mean, they're not pulling punches. By the way, can we appreciate for a moment our new auditor, Josh Gallion? I mean, does it really feel like that guy is getting tough?
He's digging. He's digging. He ain't backing down. That's for sure.
He is doing a great job.
Hold on, Rob. All right. More than Jay Thomas Show, our weekly chat with Rob Portsating, blog.com. Columnist for Forum Communications. Also, he hosts his own podcast called Plain Talk. And if you want to be part of the program, 293-9000, toll-free 1-888-970-9329. You can email the studio talk at WDAY.com, and you can also text us in studio. What do you do, Kyle? You just type in talk at WDAY.com, or you do the phone number on your texting machine on your phone there, and you can text the program. More of the Jay Thomas Show coming to you live from the Miller High Life studio. More with Rob Port. We come back. Jay Thomas Show. Someday. Summer night someday. Mr. Eric Jorgensen is going to join us at 4:40 this afternoon. He was on Naked and Afraid last night.
Man.
He's from Fargo. He only lasted 4 days out there. But I like that show.
Did you last 4 days out there?
God, no, I couldn't even last an hour out there. It's one of these reality shows, you guys. So you know that, they're not technically out there by themselves. Yeah, there's medics there and there's protections there for them. But still, I think it takes a lot of guts to, not even so much the nude enough, but just having them. I mean, really, you're out there. They put them in some crazy places. So I just want to kind of get it behind the scenes, what it's really like to be on that pro. I don't know, Rob, if you're a fan of the show or not.
What is this?
Naked and Afraid on
Naked
Discovery
and
Channel.
Afraid?
Yeah, it's been on for, God, I don't know how many years now. It's you take a guy and a woman, you nude up, and they put you in the craziest places in the world, and you got to survive for 21 days. And a Fargo guy was on there. Eric Jorgensen was on the new episode last night. So
we're
going to talk to him later on this afternoon.
We have run out of ideas.
Well, actually, this is a pretty good. I don't know though. Every time it's on, my TV's all messed up. There's these fuzzy things all over the television. It's the only reason I watch it. I'm just hoping they'll forget to fuzz someone there. All right. So anyway, back to Tony Grinberg and NDSCS. I think I said that right. All right. So what's because stuff like this happens, and does anything really come of it?
Well, no. Honestly, no. And here's the interesting thing. You're gonna like this part. So what happens during these audits is basically the auditor goes through and they have their finding, but the people being audited have a chance to respond. right? So they have a
Okay.
chance to say, well, we agree with the finding, we don't agree with the finding, here's our explanation. And if they agree with it, they'll talk about like, well, this is what we're going to do going forward to fix the problem. So which is good, right? That's part of the process. So the person who responded to this, though, wasn't the North Dakota State School of Science. It was North Dakota University System Chancellor Mark Hagerod. And he agreed with every single finding in the audit. But here's the thing. He proceeds his responses with this language. I quote, "The North Dakota University System Office does not directly oversee the day-to-day operations on its campuses, and I do not have any way to meaningfully verify or controvert the factual findings set forth in the report based on information in the NDUS office's possession. As a result, I have largely confined my responses to your office's recommendations in lieu of directly responding to the findings themselves." So in other words, he's agreeing with the recommendations, but he's not conceding that anything was done wrong in the first place.
Just like there was just one in the paper again today or on the news. Yeah, I was in the paper when these open meeting laws are broke. It's just a joke. Nothing ever happens to whether it's a city commission or you know what I'm saying. So meeting laws are broke. Yeah. So what? You don't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's good. I mean, listen, as somebody who has filed, I file open records. I filed a lot over the years, and I've won just about all of them. And sometimes it is beneficial because they have to make good on the records, and that could be beneficial.
No. I know. There's no reprimand for it. There's no reprimand. There's no punishment.
Well, also for the open records, you got to remember, like that's a 6-month process. So a lot of times, like I try to avoid filing a complaint because I would rather just have the information, right? So the problem is, a lot of times you're right. Almost nothing happens. So just about anybody in the state can delay you getting information for at least 6 months, because if you file a complaint, that's how long it's going to take the AG's office to look at the situation and come back with an opinion, maybe opening the records if you win. So
who files more requests, you or the forum?
Well, probably the forum. They outnumber me in the number of reporters they got working, but
I'm just curious.
I file a few. Listen, generally, and I want to tell you, a lot of times I'm filing open records. I probably didn't need to. I probably could have just asked, but I'll just, if I'm asking for records, I'll just, this is an open records request.
Sure.
I will tell you, about most of the time, North Dakota's public officials are very open. They're very helpful, even when they know that I'm after something that might not be very flattering for them, or they know I'm going to be critical. They're very, very good to work with. It is very rare that you run into some problem areas. The North Dakota University system is a chronic problem area. And most of the times, like if you see the North Dakota University system.
Yeah. Why do you think it's such a chronic?
Because
what do you think the problem is there?
I think they do a lot of things wrong. I think the
they just don't want to own up to it.
They just don't want to own up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Email comes in, and I don't know enough history about UND. Email comes in, says Tom Clifford was the best leader of UND from North Dakota. Find another Tom Clifford.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was.
Everybody says that, and it reminds me of Republicans when they talk about, we need another Ronald Reagan. Listen, Ronald Reagan's not coming back. Tom Clifford.
Who is Tom Clifford?
Tom Clifford is a former president of UND. He was very, very popular. I think he was president during like when the Engelstad family was first making their big donations. And, like he was very popular. He was before my time too, and by all accounts he did a great job. But every time this comes up with problems at UND, or even problems with presidents at other universities, you say, well, we got to find another Tom Clifford type. And I don't disagree. Tom Clifford was from North Dakota. In fact, I think he was a lawyer practicing here. He didn't have like a doctorate degree or anything else. I think there's something to that. I think if you want to go in the Tom Clifford vein, then I think that's right. Find somebody from North Dakota who knows the lay of the land, who understands the institutions.
That's what you need.
And put them in.
Didn't I know he was just intern, but Schaefer did a pretty damn good job up there, did he not?
I think so, and I think the reason why Schaefer, he got listen, when you're making decisions at a campus like that, they affect a lot of people, and campus politics is vicious. I mean, it's just a vicious place. So, but I think the reason why Ed Schaefer was inoculated because the public knew him, right? I mean, we knew Ed Schaefer. He was our governor for the better part of a decade. He served as U.S. attorney. He's been this figure. I mean, he's a known quantity, so you can trust him. So if he's making tough decisions, I think he gets credit where maybe somebody like a Kennedy or somebody doesn't. And Kennedy got beat up like when he cut the women's hockey program.
Oh, hockey yeah, buddy.
I supported him. I think that was I think that was absolutely the right decision. It was hemorrhaging money. Nobody was going to the game. For all the hue and cry, those people sure as hell weren't showing up to games. to watch the game. So they expect the public and the students and the taxpayers to subsidize a program they won't even buy tickets for. So, I thought it was the right move. You want to support women's hockey, then the public needs to support it. It's not on the taxpayers to subsidize sports programs that we think ought to exist, that we don't even bother to show up for. I mean, the sports programs that people actually watch don't even make money. And we're also going to subsidize, sports programs that lose millions of dollars and nobody's watching, or next to nobody. Come on.
All right.
So I thought that was the right decision.
All right. Now, before I let you go, Senate Bill 2315, this whole battle over posting land here in North Dakota. Where is this at right now? Where do we sit with this thing?
So as it stands right now, the Senate passed a bill which essentially did, what most people understand, where it ends the presumption of access to land and would have created this online database where people could report their land status. Goes over to the House side. The House watered it down. Or they didn't really water it down. When it came to the floor, what they did is they divided the bill. So what happens is a lawmaker can during the floor debate, a lawmaker can make a motion and say, I want to divide the bill so we have votes on different parts of the bill. Okay. So what they did is they divided the bill, and the most controversial parts were voted down. And what was left was essentially just some things to make it a little bit easier to prosecute trespassing, but doesn't end the presumption. But so that's where it's at now. So
if I'm a landowner in the state of North Dakota, where is it at right now? If I own land, I do not have to post my land.
Well, what's happened is the Senate and the House have passed two very different bills.
Of course,
it's in conference committee right now, and so I would say the situation is fluid. I'm not sure we really know. My guess is because the House watered it down so much from where the Senate's at, they're probably not going to pass anything that ends that presumption this session. Probably what you're going to see are some tweaks to the trespassing law, and then probably like a study or something into making a database. I don't think we're going to get resolution to this thing this year.
Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was what they wanted to do. Like you said, they wanted to make that database.
Right.
But then instead of me having to go out and put signs up everywhere that says no hunting, you're not allowed on this land, no trespassing, I wouldn't have to do that. I just put up a sign if hunters were welcome.
Yeah. Well, no. You wouldn't have to put up a sign at all. You just report
no signs at all.
And here's what I would do, Jay. I would make it so that by a certain deadline, every cycle, I don't know what the deadline should be, but before hunting season begins, the landowner's got to decide what their land status is going to be for the year. And then once they've decided they can't, that's it for the whole year. And then they report that to the state, and it goes in an online database, but they also print a book. I think they have plat books now, something similar to that. So you can look up the land in the book. You can have the contact information for the people, and you understand what the land status is. And the landowners can decide from year to year what they want their land. Do they want it open? Do they want it closed? I think that's the way to do it.
I see it. I'm not a landowner, but as a landowner, I don't know if I would like that where I have to wait a whole year to change my status, because let's say I allow some people to come on my land and hunt, and it turns out to be an absolute nightmare. It's a disaster. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's it. I'm done. You're done. I don't want anybody else.
Then make it. If you want to change it, if you want to go from open to closed during the course of the year, then you have to put up signs.
Okay. If so you have
something like that.
Two opportunities under your idea.
Well, here's the reality: is the landowners are gonna have to make some concessions, because, like it or not. Because, I'm on the side of the landowners. I would end the presumption, absolutely. I have been from day one. Politically, though, there's a lot more hunters living in the cities that are calling their lawmakers. I mean, they inundated the lawmakers with emails, which is why I think the House ended up watering it down so much. That's a lot of voters, and that's who the lawmakers are going to listen to, and they're not going to stand on principle on, even though I think they should. Mm-hmm. The politics of the situation is going to speak louder. There's more voters in this state who are hunters who don't own land than there are landowners, right? I mean, the landowners, they may own the land, but they're smaller in numbers. They don't have the political clout. So, I'm looking for a solution. Also, I don't want to destroy hunting in North Dakota. It's great for tourism. We have a great culture around it. I'm worried that if it's harder to hunt, that has implications for gun ownership and Second Amendment issues. So I don't want a lot of that stuff to end. But property rights are property rights. It's not our land. We can't just go on people's land. So we're going to have to find a good balance here. I don't know if we're ready to do it this session.
I don't. And we've talked about this before in this program with the listeners. Some say it's not hard to find land to hunt. Others say it's impossible.
It really depends where you're going. Depends where you live.
Depends, and you got to build those relationships up.
It depends who you are too. Like if you have a bad
Ooh.
If you have a bad reputation, people aren't going to want to let you on their land.
No, exactly. All right, Rob, what's coming up on your next Plain Talk podcast?
Well, like I said, Governor Burgum's on about this fight with the legislature over vetoes in the budget section. Drew Wrigley is going to be on. He's taking over as U.S. Attorney soon, and also that a protest leader from the University of Colorado about Mark Kennedy coming in.
All right, check that out, SayThingBlog.com. It's called Plain Talk. It's Rob's podcast, which does fantastic. Also, check out his work, Inform Publications, and SayThingBlog.com. Rob, appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks.
You got it. 2:33 WDAY time. News, weather coming up. Then we come back. If you want to jump on, if you're a landowner, I'm just curious, how would you like to see the rules here in North Dakota when it comes to posting your land? And if you're someone that it hunts, is it really that tough to find hunting land here in North Dakota? 293-9000, toll free 1-888-970-9329. Emails talk@wday.com. You can also text us here in the studio, talk@wday.com. This is the Jay Thomas Show.